lips of the one who could sing so sweet. And I would fly on the wings of a bird I knew could take me high as breathe in, breathe out. You keep me alive. You are the fire burning inside of me. You are my passion for life.
Hello, and welcome to Passion Supernatural Podcast, the podcast where we discuss what we consider to be the best soap opera ever, Passions. Hi there, every Sunday at exclusively 2 p.m. Eastern, we air exclusively on YouTube. Once again, we're free. Don't worry about paying for us. You don't have to worry about paying for something like DirecTV or I don't know, going from NBC to Sci-Fi or whatever channels that require money. We don't want your money. So you keep your money, we're good. But anyways, anyway, on Sunday, 2 p.m., we air on YouTube exclusively, where we discuss everything about the late soap opera Passions that ran from 1999 to 2008, I believe it was. 2008. Yep, and all. Where it's either about the actors, the cast, well, same thing, characters, the Town of Harmony, the magic, the crazy zany storylines, everything about it. We are here to discuss it. Hi there, I'm Joe Velasquez, host of the show, and I will say that sadly today my lovely co-host Casey Metcalf is unable to attend for the first time. Apparently she is stuck in a rainstorm, apparently, and she can't make it in time and all. She went Easter egg coloring today with a friend of hers, and they got caught in a rainstorm, and she said she wasn't going to be able to make it. So for the first time, I'll be hosting solo, but no need to fear, because once again, we have one of our favorite, well, actually, it's our only so far, the only one that we've had so far, one of our favorite guest appearances on the show, Acacia Quaintance. Welcome back, girl.
Thank you for having me.
We always love having you here, yes. And as we all know, Acacia knows Passions. She really does. She knows her passion stuff. And don't worry, she's going to help me out, people, so that we're not, well, running into bumps on the road. My favorite co-host may not be here, but we've got our favorite guest appearance. So let's get this party started. Yeah, let's get her going. Let's get the magic sparkling. And where do we begin with this, people?
All right. Well, I don't know. Like I said, I'm still in the 500s. It's been really slow, like for me, watching, not because I just haven't had like a lot of time to like watch them, but so I've jumped around though. So I'm like in the like 530s maybe. I don't know. Teresa and Ethan's wedding just didn't happen.
Like I said, you're lucky you even remember the numbers of them. I sure don't. I can't even remember the dates, to be totally honest. I basically just buy YouTube. I look at the thumbnails and I know what's going to happen. So I don't.
It's because I have them like all on a Google Drive. And a lot of times I have to kind of look at like, oh, this is number. And I have to like remember what number.
Are they from YouTube or are they like yours or
they're mine? Well, I bought them. I bought them back in December. There's a website. Oh my gosh, it's called. Oh my gosh, I have to look it up now.
And what are they? Are they all excellent quality, or are they?
They're good quality, and like the sound, because on YouTube some of the sound is cut out because of trademark. And they have like I have a clip on TikTok that I posted maybe like last week with like Sheridan and the Princess Diana thing, and the song in the background is that Elton John song that he made specifically for Princess Diana, like Candle in the Wind, I think is what it's called. But on YouTube you can't, like, that's cut out because obviously trademark. Now I'm saying that and my TikTok is probably gonna like get taken down, but
you have the actual one though.
Yeah, like so, like what I
how
like
about
posted,
sharing some of those, girl? How you say they're on a
gosh.
Google Drive? How about giving me a link to that, girl? I mean,
I have to. So I had to buy. So they're not shareable. That's the thing, is they like block them, so they're not shareable. Because you have to buy them. So like, let's see, where did I buy them from? Passions.
I can't afford it, no matter what. I mean, for
like the whole series I think was maybe like $39 or something, and then
Oh,
they
really?
send you this
Well, yeah, me and my
Passions.
roommate, we've seen them all for like in the hundreds.
Oh no, they're all on a Google Drive now. If I'm not mistaken, I read that some of them might be cut off. Like someone else had bought them on like one of the Facebook groups, the Passions Facebook groups, and said that maybe there's a few episodes that maybe aren't fully there,
That's kind
like
of
some
like
in
what
like
it's like on
2004.
YouTube. That's kind of what it's like on YouTube. Yeah, not entirely,
Yeah, so
sort of.
but I feel like those like realistically the way that Passions is, like you can like I said, I started watching it in 2004. Like I picked up the storylines
Mhm.
from never having watched. Like they repeat all the time constantly. Like the half the episode is the previous episode, and then so and that part doesn't really bother me. I'll have to find the link, and then you can like maybe post it on the thing on the podcast channel. But it is, oh my gosh.
I didn't even know, I'll be honest with you, because again, I haven't watched back then. I didn't even know that the Princess Diana storyline went on that long. I thought that it was basically just, well, in the beginning of the series when we first meet
So
Sheridan.
it kind of is, but like then I think after the wedding, so I'm not here at that point yet, but I know because I've heard people talk about it. After the what was supposed to be the double wedding of like Louise and Sheridan and Ethan and Teresa that gets like interrupted, um, something happens and Sheridan ends up like on an island or something. Like she has like amnesia or something.
I remember, I know
And
that that happens. I think that's how
yeah, and she's like
San
calling
Antonio
herself
or something.
Diana.
Yeah.
And so like I feel like they always kind of tie back to like Sheridan being like the American princess equivalent to Princess Diana, but Princess Diana was there. I feel like also it happened literally 2 years after Princess Diana died. Like I could totally see that being that's really messed up.
I mean,
Um,
I mean, the
yeah.
thing about it is that yes, I know about Princess Diana. Yes, I do, but I don't know everything about her like a lot of people do. I don't know. Like, okay, I know she was the princess and everything, and how she died from the paparazzi. I know about that. That's it. And so when and I saw the the musical that I think that's on Netflix or some streamer. I don't know which streamer it's on, but the musical of her is on one of the streamers, and I watched that with a friend of mine. Um, but um, but then like a friend of mine who I started to watch Passions with like a good God knows how long ago, and she's just been so busy we haven't continued. She says this, Mackenzie Westmore says this, everybody just starts making that storyline into a controversy and everything, that they just they went about it to way extremes. And I'm like, why? What's the big deal? They had Sheridan be friends with Princess Diana and she misses her friend. What's wrong with that? And so, but everybody is like saying that they really took it to massive extremes. And I don't really know what the world they're talking about because I don't know much about Diana. So, yeah.
So you have to, I feel like, watch that part because like I can understand both sides of it. Like I think that it happened like that storyline happened really soon after Princess Diana died, and it was like this huge deal. Like, I remember I like was gosh sick. She died in 1997. Yeah, August of 97. I was like 6, and I remember staying up late to watch Saturday Night Live, and I was so proud because like I'd never stayed up late. And it like was like interruption, breaking news, like Princess Diana killed in car crash. I mean, it was huge. Like it was major, and I understand like this is the US, like we don't have kings and queens, whatever, but like
Mm-hmm.
it was a huge deal. I feel like I remember like all of the TV channels stopped during her funeral. Like everything was like my parents were watching her funeral. Like it was like a big deal. And so I feel like for it to be such a big national, like worldwide
Right.
tragedy, and then Passions is like 2 years, like literally like almost to the like even less than 2 years, because I think Passions debuted in August, or no, in
No, it aired in July.
July.
July
July.
5th, July 5th, 1999. I know that not only because I'm the big fan, but also because it's my roommate's birthday. I mean,
Yeah, so like
not 99.
not 99, but
No, 99. July 5th. No.
yeah, like
Yeah.
so
Go ahead.
for that to happen like like less than 2 years, that and then I think that I mean I feel like it was handled fine. It wasn't like, if you're gonna do it like the way they did, it wasn't a huge
Not
deal,
like
but
they, made fun of it or anything.
yeah, no, it was, I think it was like
Actually kind of sad, really.
they had Sharon, it was like her best friend, but also like I think, and I even post this maybe on my TikTok. She's like on the phone with Princess Diana. Oh, you're staying at the Ritz. Like, well, she was staying at the Ritz. I think that's what it was. When she left that hotel to get into the car that killed her. And she was on Passion, she was coming to Sheridan's, but obviously in like, I don't know where she was going in real life. So it's kind of like very much mirrored her like death. Like her death night was supposed to be like, Passions had it as like Sheridan's, like, oh, she's coming over here. Like her and who was she with? Dodie? Dodie was her partner at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you and Dodie are coming here. Like, well, we'll see you when you get here. Be careful, be safe, or something like that. And then it's like, and then they have her like drive, like Sheridan eventually like drives through that tunnel, or like they have like paparazzi chasing Sheridan, and she goes.
They might as well turn that tunnel into some sort of I don't know, like this is the tunnel that Princess Diana died in or something. People could leave flowers there or something.
I'm sure people probably do.
Really?
I don't know if you ever read Prince Harry's book. He talks about going like how it was like a really big thing that he went through the tunnel. I don't know very
much about princes and princesses outside of fairy tales. I don't know very much about real life ones.
That's fair. I love Prince Harry. I love Meghan Markle, and so like of course I read his book. And I just love Princess Diana. Like she was beautiful. Like she was.
Yeah, like I said, I've seen the musical, and I just know she's the princess that, unfortunately, you would think that they would make paparazzi illegal or whatever you would think or whatever, but they still have it.
You would think.
What the hell's going on? But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, so that was I don't think, I mean, like I said, I don't think Passions like made fun of it. I think it was just so closely mirrored to Princess Diana's death, so close to her actual death, like her actual, and I could see why people would be like, I don't love this,
I mean, even Miss Westmore herself even thought that it was taken way too far. I never really understood, but again, okay.
I also think so. I don't know. I have this Passions book. I have to grab it. I have this Passions book, and I think that it says in there that someone who was like related to Princess Diana, like another princess of another place, I have to go back into the book and look, commented on it, like in a news article or something like that, about how it was like distasteful and something like that, which I think the Passions producers said like, well, at least people are watching it. Like, right. So, I mean, I get to see both sides. I don't think it was like, I think that I could see it being like distasteful, not in a disrespectful way per se, but just like she just died, like, not even 2 years ago, and y'all are already doing this. Like, this is kind of wild. So yeah, but I mean, I still love it. Show.
The one thing that I would really, really, it's a real shame. I'll be honest with you. It's because you say that those. I mean, again, you said that there are a few of them that are maybe not entirely all there, the ones that you have or whatever, not all of them, but you know what I mean. It's a real shame that you can't download them, because I keep thinking to myself, if you could, I would imagine that you could make some really, really great music videos with those because of the quality that you have them in.
Yeah, no. So actually, if you Google Passions, what is it? Passions. What did I just Google?
Like I said, I wouldn't be able to get
Passions Google Drive. The first link that comes up is on Reddit. I don't know if you've ever read it, but someone posted someone posted the complete series on Reddit. So if anyone's listening and wants the complete series, it looks like they're also on a Google Drive. So,
like I said, the only way that I've ever had to it is YouTube, and I mean, I agree with what everybody is saying. I mentioned this during one of our other episodes. Like I said, I agree with what everybody is saying. And Mackenzie Westmore said this. We all really, really, really think that one of the streaming sites should pick up Passions or whatever, even if it's all reruns. and all that, not new episodes, if it's all just the original show or whatever. Because I really feel like that is just ridiculous. I feel like I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong if you know of any others, but I really think that Passions is the only soap opera that in a way is kind of, even though it's canceled from being on the air, it's still kind of alive. Because any other soap opera out there in the world, if it was from cable, if you missed an episode, you missed it forever, because they never release it on VHS or DVD, and they never release it on streaming. Passions is the only one that you can actually find about 97 to 98% of all the episodes all on YouTube. And YouTube hasn't taken it down. And so I I really, really, really think that that's just not fair to the soap opera world, that these actors, they appear on soap operas, and once they air on TV, unless there are reruns that air, if you miss it, you miss it forever, and that's that. You're never going to get to see that episode unless you like record it, or if it like Days is on Peacock and stuff like that and everything. I think that that's kind of stupid. You would think that it would be like any other TV show that is released on DVD today, like as a collection and everything. You know, you would think that, yeah, you would think you'd be able to own it. But,
I agree. I
yeah,
wish that it would be picked up on streaming. Actually, hang on, let me see. I think I have this Passions book literally sitting right here, and if I do, I'll show you.
mhm.
Um,
The only two
here.
books I know of are Hidden Passions and that Audible book. Yeah,
This
that.
one. Yep. So,
I didn't know it was an actual book. I thought it was just Audible.
oh my gosh, I didn't even know it was
would've
Audible.
bought
Else I
that
would have.
I would have bought that for my roommate if I had known it was an actual book. I didn't.
Oh
I
yeah, and it took forever to get sent. Like I think I ordered it in
bought it for her, and I bought it for Casey.
November, and it didn't get to
Oh,
me
I
like
want
sometime
that.
in
Get that
December
for me for my
maybe.
birthday in June. Dang.
It's really it's good, but I think they talk about why it wouldn't be on streaming because of something about like the trademark, like the music in it specific, like that's a big part of it, like is the
It's
music that was used in there, because they did use a lot of really like, you know,
right, but I
timely
mean,
at the time
they.
music.
The thing of it is that the only thing that I can really think of that they could do about that, it would suck. It would really, really, really suck compared to when it was originally on. But I mean, it's the only other thing I can think of, is that is like what they did with Beverly Hills 90210. All of the copyrighted music in it, they basically just replaced it with other music that sucked, but it's been like that ever since. And I mean, it sucks, but it's there. So I mean, that's the only thing I can think of that they could do. And not to mention Christopher Malecki, aka Spike, he even said that when you use a copyrighted song on a TV show and everything, you're only allowed to use it once, and then that's it. You can't
Oh,
air it ever again. So yeah, once you've aired it on TV, if you decide that you're going to release your show on DVD, you got to replace the music.
yeah, like the book says something about it, like licensing restrictions, and so I wonder if that also kind of contributes to why it's not streaming. I agree that it would be great if someone, you know, went in and like replaced it and all that. I think it should be on a streaming service. I think when Peacock got the rights to NBC stuff, I feel like
Oh
they should
yeah,
have
all the soaps
put
need
it
to be on
on there.
anything that NBC did soaps on. I mean, well, actually, well, even then, I was going to say, because Peacock does Days of Our Lives, and Paramount Plus does Young and the Restless, and I was gonna say that, yeah, those are on there, but really all you can really see are the current season, and
Yeah, because I looked at days to try to go
that's
back,
it.
but
You can't look all the way to the very beginning, and there should be a way to watch it from the beginning all the way to the end, like a real series. They release the regular shows like that, so why not soaps? And like I
yeah.
said, Beverly Hills 90210, they had to replace the copyrighted music, but it's out on DVD and it's on Paramount Plus, so why not? And
I,
it's like, again, like I mentioned before, I get into arguments with a number of people all the time. People are always constantly making petitions to try and get Netflix to pick it up. And I have gotten into bickering arguments with a good number of people. I said, guys, seriously, stop. You're wasting your time. You can make a bazillion petitions. It doesn't make a difference. As long as that streaming doesn't get the rights, they're not going to do it. You can make all the petitions you want. It's not about how many people want it. It's just about rights.
But
So,
yes,
yeah.
definitely. And I think if anything, like probably if it were to ever be picked up on a streaming service, it would be Peacock more than likely because they have the rights to NBC stuff.
Yeah.
And Paramount Plus, I think, is CBS stuff. So that's why I think Young and the Restless is on there because they're on CBS. I'm pretty sure. I don't watch Young and the Restless. But
I'm just talking about stuff like All My Children and General.
Oh my gosh, I would love if All My Children was on a streaming service because I used to watch that all the time.
I think
with
that
my
might have
mom.
been. I think that what you're talking about might have been the reboot that they tried to do. I don't think it was the original All My Children.
I've the only All My Children I've ever watched was with my mom when I was like 8. So back in the day.
No, I never really watched All My Children, but I know of the couples on it, and I loved those couples, Greenlee and Ryan, and I mean, Lindsay Hartley was on there for a time as Kara and everything. I think that might have been like her third gig after being fired from Days of Our Lives and stuff like that. And when the show got canceled, All My Children, I think they decided to do a reboot or something that you could really only view, like, I don't know if it was streaming or online or what it was. She signed on to do that reboot, but that reboot did not last long at all. I don't know how long.
That's a bummer. Of course, I like the original. I like Erica Kane, Susan Lucci, of course. Who doesn't love Susan Lucci?
I think I told you about that. Yeah, I got an autograph from her. So, but I'll never ever forget when my grandma, I used to call her Gani when she was alive. I remember trying to introduce her to Passions, and we started from the very, very beginning because I had downloaded them to DVD, and we started from the very, very beginning. And I remember here we are introduced to Ethan and Gwen on the beach with a fire and all that stuff on the beach. And my Gani is basically, she's just talking about, like, you know, all the soap operas that she knows of, and before you know it, she brings up Susan Lucci and all that. And I stop her and I go, wait a minute, you know Susan Lucci? Yes, that's her daughter. Like that or whatever.
Yes, I was when I found
really?
that, I was like, that's so cool.
Like, really? I'm like, yep. So
I think that's so cool that
and so
I read that
yeah.
Mackenzie actually had initially, I think, not interviewed, auditioned for the role of Gwen. Did. And then Dana Sparks was originally auditioned for Ivy.
I never heard that one.
Yeah, like she talks about in this book. And I think she might mention it also. There's another Passions podcast that I think she mentions it on there too. But so I would think it would have been interesting to see Grace or see Dana Sparks play Ivy. I mean, I think that Kim is great. Like Kim is like, when I think about Ivy, like obviously that is, but I think it would have been interesting to see her play Ivy.
I will bring up here, I mean, okay, this is a Passions podcast, everybody. Yes, I know, but since we're on the topic, I'll mention this anyway. I'll say to you, Acacia, what I have said to, a number of people, including my very good, I don't want to say her name, but my very good, soap opera friend who I keep in touch with, who I met at a Days of Our Lives event. I've said to her, the thing of it all is that I really just don't understand. I mean, Passions in a way, Passions did this with a lot of cast members, but I'm talking about, well, hang on, let me explain it like this and then I'll get to that, is that I just really, really wonder how soap operas are able to get away with how many times they have to recast an actor, if you know what I mean. Because all I can think to myself is because they don't only have full-on actors take over the parts, they even have actors temporarily play the parts. And I am like thinking, how in the world are they able to get away with that? Because I mean, doesn't that confuse the viewers? I mean, doesn't that, like, don't the viewers take a look and be like, hey, that's not so and so, or who's this person, and all that stuff, and then before you know it, I mean, it was like this with Kay, for an example. If you, I know not very many people credit this person, but you got to remember there was a girl in between Taylor and Deanna, and she was
Mm-hmm.
only there just until they could find a new replacement for Taylor and all that stuff. And I'm like, even temporarily playing it, they have somebody temporarily playing a character if the original actor has the flu and can't film and all that stuff. All I can think to myself is, how do they get away with that? They don't have that in movies. It's not like they don't have that with, like, I don't know. I mean you don't, like, I'm just using this as an example. I mean, it's probably a bad example, but it's the best I can think of. It's not like you're watching the Harry Potter movies and then, like, all of a sudden one movie and somebody else is playing a different actor, but then you go on to the next movie and it's back to the original and all that kind of stuff or whatever. So I mean, yeah.
I feel like they probably can get away with it because it's like a long-term series, like, whereas, like, okay, like with Harry Potter, like, well, first, I think, of course, the people who make movies probably make significantly more than the people who are on soap operas.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, they make sure that, like, oh, okay, you can film at this time. Now, of course, if someone passes away, then they have to
Right.
edit. Like, I'm about to, like, I don't know if anyone watches Euphoria. I do. I love it.
No,
It starts next week. And obviously, we know Angus Cloud passed away a couple years ago. Eric Dane passed away recently. But even prior to that, he was very sick with ALS. So, like, the way that, so with Euphoria, I don't know, as of now, I don't know how they explain away Angus Cloud or Fez compared to, like, when the season 2 ended, and same with Eric Dane, like, I'm sure he probably won't be in it the whole time because I think that his
Eric
disease
Dane,
was progressively,
husband. Okay.
yeah, I think he was
don't know.
progressively
I'm
getting
not familiar with Eric Dane. I
worse.
just knew that he was married to Rebecca Gayheart. That's all I knew.
Oh, I love Grey's Anatomy, so he's always McSteamy to me. And Jacob Elordi's dad on Euphoria, but
it especially like really, it just because it just really doesn't make very entirely. I mean, maybe it does make a little bit of sense, but not that much to me, especially because, again, I mean, when you look at something like Days of Our Lives, we've lost a good number of actors who have passed away, whether it was Stefano or whether it was John recently. We just recently lost the character of John Black, the actor who played them. And I was like thinking, why couldn't they just replace them? They passed away. Why not recast them? Passions is the biggest example for that. We lost our original Alistair who died. They recast him, and I can understand or whatever. I can understand, but the reason why they did that was because it exclusively says online. I don't know where online, but somewhere online I read it that it said that when David Bailey drowned, that the actor was still filming when the character drowned, and the character was still there, and so there was no other choice but to recast. Well, okay, I get that, but I mean, still, there are lots of other actors who have passed away. Why don't you recast them and everything? I mean,
I feel like it would be hard. Like, I don't know. I guess it depends on, like, how attached you are to a character and where they are in the show. Like, can they, if it's like in the middle of filming, like, do they have to replace them, or can they, suddenly write them out? I don't know. I think about, like, I watch Grey's Anatomy, and Alex, I forgot what his real name is in real life. But he suddenly left. He didn't. Huh?
I think my roommate might watch that. I'm not sure, but I never have.
Yeah, it's like he didn't pass away or anything. The original actor didn't pass away, but he left the show abruptly. Like, I think I read somewhere that he just had a mental health issue and said that he just wasn't coming back to film. And they didn't replace him. They just wrote him out of the show in a way that didn't require him to come back. So, I mean, I think it also is like a matter of, like, sensitivity, where, like, if this was a major character who then, like, we all know that this person passed away, like, do we want to recast them? I don't know, but I think with Passions, like, some of them, like, I think about, like, when I started watching it, it was right around when Lindsay and Justin went on parental leave. Yeah. And but, like, you knew that they were being replaced because of course, like the person who played Teresa, like was little, like they picked it up exactly where, like Lindsay left off. Like the next episode was just like this new person in the exact same outfit, saying the exact same
Right.
lines, So I feel like some of the time, like they can get away with replacements and stuff like that because it's like we, as viewers who like love the actors, probably know like, oh, this person's sick or this person's having a baby or getting married or
It's
whatever.
it especially, I mean, a friend of mine, like I said, I don't want to say their name, but a friend of mine actually says that this would be offensive, but once again, it really makes absolutely no sense on this one. I don't know if there's any other soap operas that have something like this, but with Days of Our Lives, again, this is a Passions podcast, people. I know I'm mentioning Days, but still, I mean, I guess it kind of just adds up because Galen and Eric are on there. But getting to my point of what I'm trying to say here is that it just really does. I don't know if any other soap opera has this, but Days has got this really, really, really great explanation. You know how in soap operas that nobody is ever really dead. When somebody dies, they are able to come back to life. Well, Days has a very, 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 very great way of explaining how these characters come back to life. They actually have a mother effing drug that they're able to insert into people, and it brings them back to life. And all I was thinking to myself is just recently, we lost the character of John. I understand the actor died. I get it. But couldn't they have at least explained? I mean, they got a freaking drug right there. Couldn't they have explained why this drug wouldn't work to bring him back? They don't even acknowledge it. It's almost like they forgot. Oh yeah, that's right. We've brought other people back to life. Go get that drug. They don't even mention it. So
I feel like that would be like a sensitivity issue. That's why
what my friend said, that it might be a little offending or something like that. It's like I said, I just find it weird that they have it at all, but they don't even acknowledge it. When we just
I feel like that would be a sensitivity.
Yeah, so
because as a viewer, if someone died, I would be like, oh, okay, like let's not replace that. I mean, Alistair, he was so central to like what was happening in the show.
Like I said, I believe David Bailey only lasted for like what, 4 episodes? I think something like that. I mean,
I'm not even there yet, honestly. So
I prefer David Bailey over John Riley. I know John Riley was there longer, but I like David Bailey because he was more of the rough, a bastard kind of guy, whereas John Riley turned him into more of a mob boss.
Mob boss. Which one was okay? So, who was the like most recent Alistair? Like when the show was like ending, like that. Like who did Teresa marry?
When David Bailey drowned, John Riley took over for the rest of the show.
Okay. Okay. I like John Riley, so I don't know another Alistair though because I haven't gotten there yet.
It's just like I said, because he was on there the longest. I think David Bailey only lasted about maybe like 4 or 5 episodes, and then he was found drowned in his pool, and then they replaced him with John Riley. And like I said, I liked John Riley in the role. He was definitely good, but there's too many mob boss villains in the world. Whereas David Bailey played him just more loud and grrr. You don't want to mess with this guy. John Riley was more of the, I am John Riley. I'm Alistair Crane. Don't mess with me.
I loved that. There was a clip that Alistair has, and it's so funny. Like I literally just like stumbled on it, and it was so funny. Oh gosh, I have to post it on TikTok at some point. One day I will. Where he's like talking about Ethan and like it's like the strawberries. Like I don't know. It was so freaking funny.
One. I remember.
Oh my god, I was dying laughing.
That was basically
when he tried to kill Teresa.
He was still alive, so that basically null and voided Ethan and Teresa's marriage because he was still alive. So they didn't know. He was still alive. My
gosh, that pisses me off. But yeah, no, that was a really good. So I'll at some point post that.
No, don't get me wrong. I love John Riley. I'm just saying I like David Bailey better. That's all.
I have to see him because I haven't.
Yeah.
I've only
What I would really, really, really love. I don't think you. Okay, I know you answered this for me one of the other episodes, but I can't remember what you said. Have you gotten to where Eric Martsolf has taken over for Ethan yet, or is it still Travis?
Still Travis.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're not gonna get it until Eric, because I believe that Eric is the first one that they do this with. But I know that only a few soap operas do this. Days doesn't do this. I don't know if All My Children ever did. General Hospital does it every once in a while, and I definitely don't know about Young and the Restless. But one of the things that I really, really love about soap operas is that whenever there is either basically if like, kind of like what it was like with Ethan, it's like one day it was Travis and the next day, boom, you see Eric or whatever. If it goes like that, or if the character is temporarily replaced, you'll hear that voice. The role of so and so is temporarily being played, or now being played by so and so, and all that stuff. I would love to be able to find all the episodes where that happens and just kind of make like a montage or whatever of all the times that happened for all the characters and stuff like that. That happened with Alistair. I mean, it started with Eric as Ethan when he was the first, and then from then on, whenever it didn't happen when a character was away for a while. When a character was away for a while and then came back, such as like the character of Miguel, for an example, like when Jesse left the show, he was gone for a long time before Adrian came on, and then when Adrian left the show and then Blair came on, for those, they were gone too long. They didn't need to make the announcement. It's just obvious they were being recast. But if it's a quick shift or a temporary thing, they would always have that voice, if you know what I mean. And I especially loved it. You obviously haven't gotten to this part yet, I know, but I especially love it when they get to Fox's recast. That, again, this was Passions. This was the thing I loved about Passions. You're not going to get this from any other soap opera. You might get that voiceover in other soap operas, but you're not going to get this. Was that when it came to Fox's recast, that actually became a part of the show. That wasn't just a thing for the audience. That was actually something, because I'll never forget. It was basically where the doorbell rings at Tabitha's house. She's walking towards the door, and then all of a sudden you hear the role of Fox Crane is now being played by Mark Weistrack. And then Tabitha's like, hmm? She's like looking all like, where'd that come from? And then she makes it to the door, and there's another doorbell ring, and you hear, answer the door, like that, or whatever.
I love how
it's like that. You can hear that voice, and so, and then in comes Mark Weistrack as the new Fox in his introduction. So yeah, you may hear that voice in other soaps, but you ain't gonna get that. So the characters actually hear that voice.
I can't wait to get there. Yeah, no, I am still in the original. Like I said, I'm still like the 500. So Teresa's in Bermuda still.
I mean, it really actually surprises me that for characters like Fox and for characters like Chad, Charles Divins, and then Mark Weistrack, I mean, I guess I can kind of understand why. I mean, their characters, in a way, their characters had done their job and all that kind of stuff. I wonder what made them decide, when those two actors decided not to renew their contracts, to just kill them. I'm wondering why they didn't decide to recast them. Like I said, I guess in a way their characters had done their job and it was kind of time to just, okay, that's it, be done with them. But because they replaced Paloma. I mean, Silvana Arias decided not to go on, and Anya Geelan, and the same thing. Well, I mean, she basically was one of those where the move to DirecTV, she was there all along. It was just when the move to DirecTV came on, she was recast. Whereas Miguel was gone for a while and everything, and before Blair took over and stuff like that. So when Miguel was gone, it was obvious you were going to get a recast. But with Paloma, unless you heard the announcements, like if you were on IMDb or something like that, back when it had message boards and stuff like that, unless you heard that Paloma was being recast, you could be watching the show, and then all of a sudden, boom, we got Anya Geelan instead of Silvana. So it just kind of makes me wonder why they decided to just, both of them got the same kind of death. They were both shot and everything, and I'm wondering why they didn't decide, you know what, we can't get rid of these characters, we gotta recast.
I wonder what else Fox was. So I'm not even there. Like, I know that something happens with Fox and he turns like villainy.
He does. Yeah. With Justin Hartley on the show. With Justin Hartley on the show, he was the good guy, if you know what I mean. Even with Kay, he was the nice guy and fan favorite, good looking Justin Hartley and all that kind of stuff and everything. When Nick Stabile came on, it kind of confused me a little bit. Oh my god, I adore Nick Stabile. I love everything.
Was he a replacement? Was he the long-term replacement?
He was the temporary replacement while he and
they were on parental leave.
Were on maternity leave, yeah.
Okay.
I love Nick Stabile and everything he does. I love him in Bride of Chucky. I love him in this one.
I forgot he's in Bride of Chucky.
I think that's what he's most known for, I think, is Bride of Chucky. And I love him in this one Christmas movie that he stars in called Santa Junior, where he plays Santa's son out to do the job and everything, and he keeps screwing up and all that stuff. I love him in that. And it's really, really interesting seeing him in Days of Our Lives, where he's a freaking villain and everything. Nick Stabile, he's fucking aiming a gun at Hope and her little daughter. I'm like, oh my god, that's
Oh my gosh.
so and so, dang. And so, but yeah, I mean, stuff like that. I love Nick Stabile, but it really confused me a little bit because it was still Justin Hartley when Nick Stabile took over, but Nick Stabile played him more not so good guy, if you know what I mean. And then the next thing you know, we're back on Justin, and it's totally different portrayals. I never really.
I feel like that happens, like the different, like the vibes. Like I think I talked about it last time, like with the way that like Priscilla Garitas, I think that I'm not sure how you say her last name, plays Teresa when compared to like how Lindsay plays her, felt more villainy. And like you knew like, okay, like Teresa is doing all this kind of villainy stuff, but like also we like I don't know if maybe it's just me, like I just like love Lindsay Hartley, and I'm like, oh, she's such a great actress, and like you feel almost bad for Teresa because like all these terrible things have happened to keep her away from Ethan. And but then like I feel like when Priscilla played her, it was very like there's even a side by side I think on YouTube where it shows like the same scene and it just feels different. And I think, and I was watching recently like the replacement Fox during that time, the guy, I don't know what his name is, what, Nick something or other.
Well, like I said, Nick Stabile was the temporary one with the temporary.
Yeah, he even felt more like villainy, not villain. Just the way I think he delivered the line was harsher,
more antagonistic than just.
Yeah, like there's a scene where they're all at the pool and like he's asking Teresa about like whose babies are these? Like you have twins, you know, you're carrying twins. Like what did you do? You know, and so, and he's very like accusatory. Like what did you do?
Yeah, really. But yeah, I love Nick Stabile in almost all his work. He's one of my, I just love his acting so much, and he does a great job with all of his roles. But then I came back to Justin after the maternity leave, and then at some point, I guess Justin decided that he was going to leave the show, and they recast him with Mark Weistrack. And when Mark came on, I really don't know what it was. I mean, everybody loved Fox when it was Justin Hartley, but when Mark came on, people started not really caring for him that much anymore and all that stuff. And in the beginning, he wasn't necessarily villain in the beginning. He was kind of similar to Justin, but as the storylines went on, it basically, I guess it might have, I don't know when it was. Again, you got to remember, I didn't watch very much of this. I didn't start until the very episode where Kay was trying to choose between Fox and Miguel to marry, and she chose Fox. But it might have been something along the lines of when they decided to bring Miguel back, played by his name at the time, Adrian Bellani, but now he goes by Gerardo something. I don't know what his full name is now, but Adrian Bellani at the time. When they decided to bring Miguel back, I don't know, maybe they decided, you know what, now that Miguel's back to stay and that he's not leaving, and we should make him realize that Kay was the one for him, and that would also mean that there would need to be some sort of a rivalry between him and Fox, because Kay is with Fox now and all that stuff and everything. And so before you know it, Fox was turning into the not so good guy that we had known for so long, and he actually became a villain, lying about an illness and teaming up with Spike to like frame Miguel and run Fox down with his car so that Miguel would get arrested and all that stuff. And Julian was a real bad guy back in the day and everything. I mean, it wasn't until like towards the end where he became semi good guy and everything, you know, and stuff like that.
I love a redemption arc. I feel like that probably is why people didn't like the replacement. I feel like also like if you watched from like when Fox came on, Justin Hartley came on as Fox, like he's very likable and very like cute and like, you know, and then I mean the other guy's hot too, but like, you know, like I feel like also they turned him into a villain, so it's like you kind of like okay, you know, so I don't know, I always thought that it had something to do with good looks.
That's what I always thought it was.
I think they're both. I mean, I think everyone on Passions is so beautiful. Like the whole cast is full of beautiful people, hot guys, the girl, hot girl, like all of them. Everyone is hot on the show.
Yeah. I mean, even
And so, yeah.
I mean, yeah, with all the recasts and everything, because like I said, I am a fan of recasts. It really just depends on who it is. It really just depends on who it is and all that stuff. I mean, again, like, you know, when I mean, like I said, I am probably like a lot of people would say that I have bad taste and everything. I'm probably like one of the only people out there that really, really liked Blair Redford's performance as Miguel, whereas most people despise him and everything, and they're like, he was not Miguel, he was the worst and all that stuff. But to me, he was my favorite. You know, he was like the best.
I feel like
three.
On my Passions TikTok, that has been a few comments that I've had. It was like the replacement actors and like not loving them. But also I think it's like if you watched it from the beginning, like you just grow attached to the character and the actor. Like I said, I
well,
at
sure,
that point in time,
sort of like with a lot of shows. I mean, come on,
yeah, like you get into them, and so
too.
I can see, you know, people being like, "Oh, like I really like Justin Hartley, and now he's not wanted," or whoever.
But then again, you know, there are a number of times I can't really say that it was. I mean, I really would have to think about it outside of Ethan going from Travis to Eric. And there was even a time where Eric was temporarily replaced because his wife was on maternity leave, and he was temporarily played by Riv Hillis, and then Eric came back. But I have to really, and I don't know if you count Gwen. I don't know if you count Gwen because, as you know, Liza left, Natalie took over, and then Liza came back again or whatever. So I don't know if you count Gwen, but outside of Eric, I don't know if and Jesse to Adrian, but not Adrian to Blair. I really don't think very many fans really warmed up to like very many of the replacements. There are other soap operas. Once again, people, I'm gonna bring up a Days thing for a minute. When it comes to like something like Days, there are like a good number of cast replacements where people are actually saying, I like this replacement better and all that stuff and everything. When it came to Passions, outside of Ethan, Miguel, at least from Jesse to Adrian, if you count Gwen and possibly Kay, if you know what I mean, those were all mostly well received, but I don't know, the other people I can't really think of when they were replaced. I can't really think of very many people entirely warming up to them, if you know what I mean, compared to other soap operas.
Yeah, I can see also depending on like the time frame of when they were replaced. Like when Gwen left or when Liza left and Natalie took over, I feel like it was fairly early in the show, like that second season, or maybe it was like 2000, because I'm currently where I'm at in the 500s, which is 2001. So I'm in August, I think, of 2001. And Natalie is still Gwen. I feel like if they came in early as a replacement, then like maybe they were well received because like you weren't always fully attached to that character yet. I mean, depending on I guess who it was, but like if you get used to looking at, oh my gosh, what's his name? The original, Jesse Metcalfe, and then like someone else comes in.
Like
it's like,
I
oh my gosh, like, wait,
who
the hell is this?
Everybody loved Jesse and everybody loved Adrian, but everybody hated Blair except for me. And so
yeah, I don't know why people did. Like I said, I have not even remotely gotten
Blair
that
is the
far.
final Miguel. Blair,
but I know that he was, and he also just didn't look. I think so. This is when I saw like the cast pictures, like he didn't look like what I expected Miguel to look like, and I think that also made me like him less.
That was one of the reasons why he was my favorite, was because I felt to myself, I felt like, okay, I've said this time and time again, and I just like explaining it this way. Jesse was more of the romantic Miguel. Adrian was all about the hot body, take the shirt off and show them biceps. Whereas Blair was the serious Miguel, where, you know, he put his foot down and he meant it and stuff like that. And I loved it that Blair was able to not be muscular, not be all the time romantic, and yet he still gets the woman. So that's one of the reasons that I liked him so much. You don't need to be good looking, and you don't need to be, not that Blair's ugly, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying you don't have to be all hot body, and you don't need to be, oh, I love you so much all the time to have this beautiful woman and all that stuff. And he was more down to earth. You know what I mean?
I have to get to that part, and then I'll decide once I finish watching.
It's like I've mentioned before during one of my past episodes. I told this to Casey many times while we were watching the show. It annoyed the crap out of me. It's got nothing to do with Blair. I loved Blair's performance. I did not like the writing. That is the only thing that I did not like about him, was the writing. I did not like the idea that this Miguel comes back after being gone for so long, and then he finds out that Kay and Tabitha are witches, and he decides that he's going to blackmail his own fiance and Tabitha into giving up magic and all that stuff. And then so many times, over and over and over again, there are like multiple times where Miguel is like, no magic, not ever, not for anything. I don't care, no magic. If you're not going to live up to your oaths, you need to let me know, and I'm out of here, and all that stuff. I am like thinking, that gets so annoying after a while. I mean, seriously, I love the actor, love his portrayal, but that writing is shit. You know, it just, no one is going to act like that.
I think that there are a ton of plot holes in Passions in general, just like the whole series. Like, there's just like so many things like that need to be tied up or just don't make sense.
I wouldn't really know because I haven't watched it from the, beginning to
end. I think it's like logically, and maybe it's like my 2025 brain, and this was like 1999, 2001. Like, there's a lot of stuff that logically, like, and I always say this, like, I love Ethan, but I think Ethan had to be like, you're going to be so mad that I'm saying this. Ethan was dumb as shit, dude. Like, he was so dumb. Like, there's just so many things that I just felt like he just, both of them, because I think both actors played Ethan differently.
I'll never forget when, yeah, because like you said, they both played them differently and stuff like that. I remember the first time that I ever met Eric Martsolf in person. Once again, this is a Days reference, but when I met Eric for the very first time, I specifically asked him, it was a Q&A, it was between him and Jen Lilly, who played Teresa on Days, I asked Eric, I said, when you took over as Brady on Days, do you think that there was anything that you brought to the character that the other actor did not have? And he goes, yeah, me. That's what I brought to the character, me. And so that's what they got. So.
I think they definitely played it different. Like, I think Travis was very like kind of like quirky, almost like
more outspoken. More outspoken.
Yeah, and I think that he was like kind of like, I don't know, like I can't describe it. Like, I think that when Eric came, Eric was like the hot Ethan, who was and posted about this on TikTok.
Also more down to earth as well.
He was always shirtless, like he has all these abs. He's so, so I think that, but I don't think like Ethan as a character in general, like, we're supposed to believe that he's a lawyer and but he is dumb to be a lawyer. Like, he is he's just like, okay, there's a scene at the beginning, I feel like, when Travis is playing him, and I think it's the prom boat when Teresa's like, oh no, like, I'm in love with you, and he's like, oh no, you don't love me, like, you just like, we're just in close proximity all the time, like, but it goes on for forever, and it's like, she's like, no, I love you, and he's like, no, you can't love me. And then there's another that I watched recently, just a clip of it, because I'm not there yet, and it's really far, but it's when Teresa's trying to tell Ethan that little Ethan is his son, and he's like, I know, what does he say? Something like, she's like, you have another son, like little Ethan, like your little Ethan's dad. And he's like, well, yeah, like figuratively, but like now I have a real son, Jonathan, and it's like, she's like, no, little Ethan's your son. And he's like, well, I know that I am the only father figure that he has, but, and it's just like,
right. He's just not getting it.
Ethan, come on, like, you are a lawyer. You like, and honestly, that whole storyline in general, like, Teresa hooked up with Ethan the night before morning of their wedding. And then I don't know the time frame when she allegedly but never actually slept with, but they thought she slept with Julian. Seems
Yeah.
like it was a few days. You know, whatever. Okay, like when at some point I feel like Ethan should have like thought about like, could I be this kid's father? Because that's a really close time frame. Like you can pretty much with pregnancy like kind of know almost like the
Right.
exact like there's only a certain like few day window when you can conceive, you know? So like
Hmm.
and so like to me that whole I mean I get it was for a storyline, but logically I just feel like Ethan should have questioned little Ethan's paternity much sooner than
Yeah,
5 years
and
later.
it still drives me. I don't know if I mentioned this with you. I know I mentioned it before in a previous episode, but I don't know if you were there or not. I can't remember. It still really, really, really drives me bonkers or whatever that Passions is the only soap opera that actually had two characters and basically one storyline from beginning to end, if you know what I mean. It never, ever, ever changed its main characters, and it never changed its storyline. It was always Ethan and Teresa, and that's if you want to include Gwen in there. But it's mainly Ethan and Teresa. Ethan and Teresa, and it was all about. It started off with Teresa trying to get Ethan, but then it became into Teresa trying to tell Ethan that little Ethan is his son and all that or whatever. That stuff never changed. Every other soap opera, the main characters a lot of times will leave the show and they will end up bringing forth somebody else to be the main characters for a time and all that stuff, and the storylines change. You'd be shocked of how many times Days of Our Lives has changed its storylines. Passions never did that, and I'm like, why don't any other soap operas do like Passions? They should make it like an actual story from beginning to end. These are your main characters. These are who you need to root for. You don't have to worry about whether or not they're going to leave or whatever. They're there. And this is your story. This is your book to read and stuff like that. I don't know why other soap operas don't do that. I mean,
I don't know. And I feel like it was like also the time frame of like with like Passions with like one day in Harmony was like 3 months of the show, you know? So I wonder if that also had something to do with it. But I do like feel like that was a downfall of Passions was that like it was always the same. Like Teresa's doing something to get Ethan. Ethan is saying, "Oh, I love Gwen," but then like sleeping with Teresa or something, you know, like, and then we have, you know, like they were like the main focus. Like even when I like post on TikTok, like people know Ethan and Teresa. They're like, "Oh, I love them," you know, but like other storylines maybe aren't as known.
sure.
Luis and Sheridan is also one that people like really respond to,
Yeah,
but
until Fancy
um
took him, so and then people started hating him.
I haven't posted really much about Fancy and Luis
I
other
love
than like
Fancy so
ranking them on
much. Oh,
my
I so wish I
couples.
know what. I so wish we knew what happened to Emily Harper. I love her so much.
I wonder if she's living in Cincinnati. That's where she's from, but but yeah, like so I feel like that's also a big like just how long Passions like one day, like I said, one day in Passions literally drags on for like months. And so it's like, well, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I feel like with the time frame of Passions and like
Sure.
the aging of people, like how old is little Ethan by the end of the show with
Well,
also
when it comes
like
to how old kids are and everything, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's something that all soap operas do. It's that SOA I forget what it's called or whatever. It's basically speed up aging or whatever, where they are actually kids, but then about 2 or 3 episodes later, they are now
they're like
teenagers
toddlers and then like teenage. Yeah, it's crazy
and
because
adults. I mean, yeah, they especially did that with Days, and it's actually kind of interesting. I'll never forget. I was still living in Illinois when this originally happened. I'll never forget with On Days when they had basically made announcement that like these, I think it was like 4 or 5 kids that are on the show that we had known were kids. They were gonna rapidly age them and they were gonna become teenagers and adults and all that kind of stuff. The fact of it is, whichever of those rapidly aged kids that started this, none of them are playing the characters anymore.
Yeah, I bet not.
They have
'cause
all
they
been
didn't-
they have all been recast, every single one of them. You look at that picture of all those kids that they were going to rapidly age. None of them are actually on the show anymore. They are all different actors now, or they're not on the show at all. So I'm like thinking, God, some way to rapidly age your kids, and then before you know it, you get your set of actors, and none of them are doing it now. So
And I have to also like, I feel like it was like inconsistent with like little Ethan and how fast he aged, but then like Maria, who was like like born after him, was like very young when the show ended. I feel like I don't know if I have to I don't know. I think like it wasn't like a toddler or like young kid playing her still. So, which I don't know, kind of doesn't make sense, but you know, whatever. I get why they age the kids up.
sure.
But like also how they aged the adults too. Like I don't know. I have a whole soapbox about that, but maybe next time I'll talk about that part.
I really don't remember the I really don't remember because again Passions was my very first soap opera. Days has been my second. I check out other soaps here and there, but Days is my current one. I don't remember any of the adults on Passions actually being, you know, whatever the word is, aged. It was like when the show very first started. I mean, I can understand that I can understand something like when you very first meet Teresa, she's more of like, I don't know, I don't want to say high schooler, but she's more of like a college student when the show very first started, something like that. But
no, she's like a high schooler. She's like 17, really? Like when the show starts.
Really? Oh, dang. Okay. Because I know it was all.
I think she is so. Because there's a part in like after the Bennett house gets sucked into hell, where she is saying that she's going to sleep with Ethan. After she sleeps with Ethan, she's going to tell him that she knew about his Bennett paternity. And Pilar's like, no, like, why you can't, like, you're supposed to save yourself for marriage, blah, blah, blah. And Teresa's like, I'm 18 years old. I can do what I want, basically. And so that's like the first time where I'm like, oh, Teresa's 18 at this point. So that means she was 17 when the 16, 17, but probably around 17 when the carnival episode. So.
Right, and then it was just totally obvious that by the end that she was older, but it was always Lindsay Hartley regardless. But you could totally tell that she had aged, but not like aged into an old lady. But she was definitely no longer
she's like an adult. I feel like out of that whole thing, like she was the youngest, and it made a lot of sense that like she thought the way that she thought if she was like
no, you know, actually, well, no, not necessarily. No.
Well, not the youngest out of Ethan, Gwen.
Oh yes,
Teresa. Out of that, like she was the youngest. I was gonna
say out of the Lopez Fitzgeralds, it was Miguel.
Oh no,
she was that were the youngest. But yeah. I will just say this while it's on my mind. I completely forgot or whatever. I will just say this is. To me, it's sad. I'm hoping that it doesn't go any further than this or whatever. I'm very, very, very nervous about this. But all of you that love Passions and everything, and if you all love Galen, aka Luis, for all of you that have followed him on to Days, I'm sure a lot of you have heard this. Like I said, I hope it doesn't go any further than this. He's still on the show, but unfortunately, he's no longer on contract. So yeah, that really upsets me because his character of Rafe is my favorite character, and it was already bad enough that he was like getting like very nothing to do on Days, but now to find out that he's not even on contract anymore, that worries me. I would really, really, really hate to find out that he ends up being booted off the show with how popular and how wonderful his character is on Days and everything. It seems like, I'll be honest with you, it seems like Eric Martzoff's character of Brady is getting, that's what I was going to mention as well. Eric Martzoff's character of Brady is getting a lot to do on Days right now. He is getting a lot. Holy cow. He really, 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 yeah, he's really doing the whole dad thing, as I might have mentioned during our last session, the whole dad thing with his daughter Rachel and everything. He is really, really being this, basically the father that he never got to be on Passions, because I mean he had no idea that little Ethan was his son. And well, when did you ever see him with Jane and Jonathan? I mean,
exactly, never.
So basically on Days he really gets to play a dad and everything. He's really, cool. even though his daughter is evil. I mean, she's just been recast recently, but his little girl is like this evil little girl and everything, doing all these bad things. He doesn't know that she is doing all this bad stuff, but he's doing everything he can to protect her. He's fighting for her in court and all that stuff. She's currently just been recommitted, not committed, but recommitted back into a mental hospital or whatever. She was already in there. She was released. Well, she's just been put back, and she doesn't want to be there, and he doesn't want her there. So he's doing everything he possibly can to get her out. I'm like, okay, yeah, Eric Martsolf is going back to getting a lot of stuff that he got to do as Ethan or whatever, whereas poor Galen got basically nothing, and now he's not on contract anymore. So I'm hoping that he doesn't get booted from the show. He's too popular, and he's my favorite character. So
yeah,
I just wanted to bring that up. Before we run out of time, I just want to ask you this, Acacia, or whatever, because again, I've not watched Where You Are and stuff like that, so you're the only one that could. Maybe you could tell me this, where you are right now. Who are your characters that are on the show currently? Like, who have you met? Who are like the characters that are like always on where you are right now, like the main
of course, Teresa, Ethan, Gwen, Eve, and oh gosh, and Julian, Alistair. So I haven't actually seen we haven't seen Alistair's face. We've just seen his hands and voice.
It's just the
hands and his voice and all that. Yeah.
I spoke
Ivy, of course, Sam, Grace. Right now Deanna is playing Kay, where I'm at.
Okay, Deanna.
David Hastings just came on in the last few episodes.
David Hastings was who again?
He was. I think that Ivy may have paid him to say that he was
That's
Grace's
right.
but I'm not for sure. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm
about.
excited to see how that storyline comes together. Gosh, I think that is, of course, Sheridan and Louise.
Has Miguel left yet, or is it, I can't remember. Oh, no, Miguel doesn't leave until Heidi's on. Miguel, I forgot. Miguel doesn't.
No, Miguel is still on. And Charity is still on there too.
It hasn't gotten the zombie Charity yet, has it?
Not. I haven't gotten the zombie Charity yet.
I never saw that whole storyline, so I wouldn't. Yeah.
Tabitha, of course. Timmy is on there still.
Timmy's still on. Okay, so Nora's not born yet. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm like very in the early. I'm in the like 500s, like I said. So like I said, Teresa.
I was just
Ethan,
wondering.
Their wedding didn't happen.
I was just wondering if characters like Paloma had been introduced yet, or
no. And I remember actually when I started watching it in 2004, when Paloma got introduced. So I know that that's not for a while. Like they've made mention, I think, of her, but never. I think that I'm not too far away from like Liz coming into the storyline, and Antonio probably. So. I have to pick it back up. Like I said, I haven't watched it in a while just because I've been busy with work.
I'd love to watch it with you. You'd really be, man. I would have a ball watching it with you if you had the time. Yeah, but hey, you know what, people? We are out of time. Our whole hour has gone by. We made it through another episode. Yeah. So anyways, people, all of you viewers out there, thank you so much for tuning in. If any of you out there have missed today's episode, no worries. You can always tune in next weekend. We will air at the same time, exclusively on YouTube, Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern. And if any of you out there, let's just say, or whatever, I say this every week, and I'll continue to say it till I'm blue or red in the face. If any of you out there, just like wonderful Acacia here, if any of you are fans of Passions and you would love to be a guest appearance on the show, please leave your name and your social media, whether you have Line, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, I don't know, Telegram, any of those social medias. Just leave your name and your social media in the comment sections below. Either myself or Casey, we will reach out to you. We would love to have you on here. Just like Acacia here has been wonderful, and she's gonna be with us for a while, I hope, and all that stuff. And so we would love to have all of you on here as well. We are still trying to get more cast members. I never did hear from Dylan Fergus. He hasn't even seen my message. I guess he's been busy with his son and stuff like that. I mean, he did tell me that he's got a son that he takes care of. Maybe he's been busy with him. I haven't heard from what's her name, Christy Ferris, who plays the second Simone. I still have not heard from her yet, even though she told me to contact her in March, and I never heard from her, so I don't know. This month, I will be reaching out to Dana Sparks, aka Grace and Faith. I will be reaching out to her this month because she told me to reach out to her in April. So I'm just gonna give it a few more days because we're still in the beginning, but I'll just give it a few more days and I will contact her. Casey, as far as I know, still has not heard from you at Tamargo. But we're gonna keep going. We are gonna get some more cast members. It's just gonna take a while. It's a lot of hard work to get these people, but the show is gonna go on and everything. You know, I'm sure we have a lot more stuff to chat about. Hopefully, Casey will be back. Will be back with us come next weekend. Let's hope and pray for that and everything. We're not losing her yet, but all the same or whatever. Let's all hear it for Acacia Acquaintance. Thank you so much for being with us again. We owe you one.
Thank you.
Yep, we look forward to having you back with us again. But in the meantime, always remember it. I'm Joe Velasquez, and just remember, you are our passion for life. Thank you. Thank you very much. God bless everyone. Have a good night, people. Ha-ha.
And kiss the lips of the one who could sing so sweet.